18-year-old George Kelly has been selected to star in the next international outings for Portugal. Can he live up to the hype?
Branded as the world's next Ronaldo, can Kelly handle the pressure? In another news, 18-year-old George Kelly has been handed his first international call-up.
It was everywhere. It had just been announced this morning by my agent that I had been called up to the national team, but all media outlets had already known. My first international call up, I don't know whether it was because of the switch or my start to the season, but I was going to start in the games against Belgium and Argentina over the international friendly period. But first of all, we had a task to do against Juventus. My first league game of the season, and I had done just enough in the preseason to convince the coach that I was ready to start the season. He started me over Arnautovic, something I felt that was pretty great because I deserved the chance. I had worked for it, I had earned it, still young, still cooperating with the club, but it was not a very difficult decision for the coach to make. Starting this game, I was up in my spirits, ready to pounce and ready to create chances. Juventus started on the stronger foot. We were struggling to keep hold of the ball, but eventually after we did, we started creating some really good chances. After a failed attack from Juventus, some slick counter-attack and perfect passing, including really good vision from Denzel Dumfries, enabled me to open my account for the club.
If it's getting hard, if it's getting too hard for you to keep running, maybe take a minute, slow down.
My first goal for the season, a perfect one, an incisive one, and a very good decision that was from Denzel Dumfries to play the ball into me. I was on running, and that gave me the opportunity to represent myself on this big stage in a category where I felt like my career was going to grow. All I needed was the good teammates, and I found them. I just needed to take the chances. We managed to really hold on to this lead heading into halftime. Juventus, though, were quite strong coming forward. We created more, but unfortunately we couldn't edge ahead. At the break, the coach told us not to be complacent because Juventus would come out of the dressing room pouncing, so we were not to let our guard down. And unfortunately, that's what we did, and they pounced immediately.
If it's getting too hard for you to keep running, maybe take a minute, slow down. You love it.
We created more and more chances, better chances to score, even including some really slick passing and some really creative crosses into the box, but unfortunately we just couldn't edge ahead. With time seriously running out, someone had to step up, and coming from a league where I was one of the top assisters, I bagged my first assist of the season to get my account going.
Yeah, the pass was bang on, and he just had to ensure he didn't stray offside. The finish was actually bang on too.
An incisive pass at an incisive moment. That's what we needed to edge ahead. That's what we needed to be able to down Juventus, and that was the start I needed to the season. Arnautovic later on had a really good chance to put us 3 ahead, but unfortunately he flashed it wide. 2-1 the game finished, a goal and an assist for me to start the season. I couldn't ask for more. It was the perfect start to my career at Inter Milan. Next up was Como, one of the league's most fierce underdogs, and we had to down them in their own backyard. A perfect start is all we needed for us to be able to get control of this game before it slipped away from us, and fortunately for us, Denzel Dumfries delivered. Getting in behind the low block was one of the most difficult things that we struggled to do. It forced us to take shots from the edge of the box, trying our best to get the ball into the back of the net, but nothing was undoing. It took a mistake from the keeper for me to get my second goal of the season, and a little bit of that fortune is what we needed. Getting my account going, 2 goals in 2 games, 3 goal contributions in 2 games to start the season. What else could I ask for? I was having a breeze at Inter Milan. That was all we needed. 2-0 the final score at Como, and that one was the perfect start to the season for us. Up next, I needed to head back home for my international debut. I was flying back home happy, really cool. I mean, I had been away from home for just 2 months, but I missed the views, everything was looking just great. I felt as if I had been away from home for over a year. It was just perfect. The smell and a language I could understand easily. At dinner time during the evening, we talked with family and friends. We were really happy about my debut. When I arrived at the camp, I was really happy to see all my teammates, all the wonderful faces I will be playing with, including the newly appointed captain Bruno Fernandes, who welcomed me to the team. First match day of the international friendlies, my family came, the whole family, including my grandma from Africa, whom I had just seen twice when I was a kid. I was really happy that they had come to support me. The coach placed me to start in the first team. My first international cap was starting, and it was piling a lot of pressure on me. I felt as if I was not yet ready. I was not yet determined. I don't know, I expected to start on the bench maybe, but the coach decided that I was going to start. He had that much faith in me. Could I deliver? That anthem was like an injection of morphine into my blood system. All I needed to get myself the hype. I had been singing it as a kid, watching my team play, our country play all the time, and it took me up to the 40th minute for me to make any impact in the game. That's how difficult this game was. Belgium were a tough side to deal with. They piled a lot of pressure on us. A very beautiful 1-2 between myself and Rafael Leao enabled me to take my first shot on target in the game, but unfortunately Matt Sells was there to cover. A really beautiful save from the Belgian keeper managed to keep me out of the net. Took us up to the second half, but Belgium came back a little bit stronger. I did not find my footing in this game. I couldn't contribute much. It was the nerves that were getting to me. I could not do anything. Fortunately, we managed to open the goal scoring. A really beautiful goal from Diogo Jota. My game was particularly bad, and in the end the coach decided that I couldn't play the game anymore. I was subbed out. The game ended as a 1-0 win, a very important win. This was to start the international friendlies, but I just didn't have my footing in this one. I claim that it was because of the nerves that the coach had applied to me in the start of the game, but I was ready for the next one. We were facing Argentina up next. The Argentina-Portugal fight that we knew before was Messi versus Ronaldo, Real Madrid versus Barcelona, the El Clasico. This was the El Clasico of the international teams, but unfortunately this time round none of them was available. Both had retired from international football, and we were the new faces. I don't know who was the new face for Argentina, but at least I was for Portugal. Maybe I was to find out that we had some really good players on the other end too. Very early in the game, Rafael Leao with a nice chance to give us the lead, but he unfortunately didn't manage to do so. In the 22nd minute, we created some chances. I managed to get a shot away, but it was nicely blocked and cleared. The first half in that game also lacked action, just like the Belgium game, but when we came back in the second half, we were on fire. We were really going for it. I myself, with a lot of fatigue in my system, managed to create some really good chances, some of them of which we even ended up questioning that how the hell did they not go in. Cleared off the line by the keeper. I felt I had failed. I managed to get a second chance to go at it, but my shot was straight at the keeper. To be honest, Emiliano Martinez was their savior. The coach subbed me out and brought in Trincao. What I failed to do in 65 minutes, Trincao did in just 5 minutes of coming on. We won the game 1-0, beating Argentina by 1-0. I felt like this game was better, but I could even do better. I was waiting for the next international break, but I needed to go back to Italy because we were in the Champions League. Our group had Dinamo Kiev, we had Real Sociedad and Hibernian. A very easy group compared to the group A. That was a very tough group. My Champions League debut, just like my international debut, came quite fast in the early stages of the season. I was given the nod. I was put in by the coach to start this game. He believed that much in me. This was the big stage. I had to deliver or we could be out of it. This was an international competition that I promised myself I will be able to win. For me to be able to match Cristiano Ronaldo and be the next Ronaldo as I wanted to be, I needed to start just winning all of these trophies, including the ones that Ronaldo did not win. So the Champions League was a very important journey to me, and I needed to provide. But I kind of did not start really well. We created a lot of chances. We had our first goal within the first 5 minutes, a perfect start. Thuram with the goal to set us up, but unfortunately for myself, the rest of the game felt like I was floating inside the game. I was not available. I was not visible to my teammates. Despite creating some good chances, nothing was working for me. It was all Thuram. It was all Thuram's day. He managed to get the second one after the coach substituted me and brought Arnautovic on. Arnautovic with the assist. My head was not in the game. I felt like it was just the pressure that was being applied. 2-0 the win against Real Sociedad for our first Champions League match day. A much needed win, but I felt like I could have done better. I had not performed as per expected. I expected much more of myself, and everything was not working well. In the game against Parma Calcio, the coach brought me on from the bench due to my fatigue levels. I was not fit enough to start the game, so I started from the bench immediately the second half dawned. The game was tight. The game was really difficult. Parma were piling on the pressure on the team, and he needed someone to create the chances that had not been created the whole game. A really good pass into the path of our players was not enough for us to get the lead, but the resulting play from that chance was enough for me to be able to make the difference, and the only difference in this game. A great skill to get away from the defender. My third goal of the season in my third game for Inter Milan. I mean, I was cruising in the league. The league was me and I was the league. I felt like everything was falling into place. I felt like I had everything in the bag. The league was really giving me the chance. 4 goal contributions in 3 appearances, 3 goals in my first 3 league games, and I was a perfect striker. Creating the chances, finishing them off was working for me. Not the best start to my international debut that I would have expected to have, or the Champions League that I would have expected to have, but my league was really cruising. 1-0 the final score at Parma Calcio. My season had begun well. I felt like everything was falling into place. I was ready for more work.